Hello, my name is Ilona Hassan, and I'm continuing to show you Neurographica technique. It's a coaching using drawing, and today I'll show you one of the very quick and effective ways to self-coach. Neurographica is essentially a self-coaching through drawing, and drawing helps us to work with ourselves and especially with our subconscious. So in a minute, I'll change camera to that you should be able to see my desktop. But meanwhile, I wanted to let you know about Neurographica very briefly, that Neurographica is a specific drawing technique accompanied by psychological processes, and it has algorithms. So it's algorithmic drawing, meaning that there are certain steps that we observe, and it's specifically designed. It's not an intuitive drawing necessarily, although there's a lot of intuition going on, and it's not art drawing where you let yourself, draw whatever comes to mind or whatever else, and we're also not copying anyone else. So in a sense, it is intuitive, but it's guided by psychological processes because we follow a 7-step algorithm. So today I'm not going to talk more about theory, but I wanted to show you something very effective for yourself for everyday use. And I'll switch my camera so that you could see my desktop in a minute. Prepare your pencils or pens or whatever you're going to draw with. So I have a bunch of pencils that I use. And I'll be using black marker so that you could see better on the white paper. If you have something like this, make sure you have available for you. And before we begin drawing, before you begin really getting into the drawing, remember that this drawing is, as I said, is a psychological, it's a self-coaching. So before any drawing, we always want to relate to something personal in our life that we'd like to transform. So today, I'd invite you to do something relating to areas in your life that you feel stuck. So for example, it could be a relationship, could be your career, could be anything else. So maybe you're doing exams or something like that. Maybe you need some fresh ideas about something, or you want to expand yourself, your point of view. So this is a really good drawing that I'm going to show you to do just that. So if you have an area in mind, and let's record something. So for me, it's teaching. For example, I teach Neurographica courses, and I'm launching one right now. And for me, it's teaching is not necessarily an issue, but I want to relate to my students, to people who come to my courses. I want to expand a little bit myself, how I relate to them. And so relatedness in teaching. So this is something I'd like to see different, a little bit expand my point of view, maybe see, maybe I have some blind spots. And now that I'm aware of my topic, my specific situation, and I invite you to do the same, find something that you bring to the drawing, something specific in your life, something that you can relate to, okay? And by the way, thank you for watching this video. I appreciate everyone, and please leave me a comment or maybe even share your drawings. That I would appreciate a lot, because we communicate via technical media. So it would be nice to have a sense of who's watching, who's enjoying these videos. So yeah, so please have some feedback for me. That would be great. Okay, so come back to your topic that you chose, which is, to me, was relatedness in teaching during my teaching and courses. Whatever it is for you, you write your own, and here you write your own topic, okay? So next thing I'll invite you to do is we're going to draw a circle, and circle anywhere in the middle. And circle will represent you right now in this situation. So how big or small, it all depends. And I usually let my hand a little bit dictate or guide me of what I want to draw, what kind of circle, where, and how big. And here I relate to my body. So if you feel that your attention, your awareness is too much in your head right now, in your mind, please close your eyes momentarily and imagine that your attention is dropping, traveling all the way to your chest area, in your heart area. And as you do that, be aware of, include your body in the process. So your body is part of the process, not only your active mind. So include the awareness of your body, and then you will start relating to your hand more closely. And this way you can also listen to your hand and listen to your body, as well as you listen obviously to your thoughts and feelings. So this is very important to include the full awareness of what's happening in this drawing, because as I said, it's a special way of drawing. And so come back to drawing a circle. I'm looking at what kind of circle I want to draw, but make sure it's not too big, not an entire page. So when I do the circle, observe again, observe your body, your hand, and what I'm doing now. I'm going over the circle with a a little bit of a wavy line. And the reason is, in Neurographica, we always draw these wavy lines because they represent unique personality, my unique personality. If we draw like very straight, strict geometric lines, they become a little bit generic and we don't see ourselves in it. But when we bring a little bit of this bionic, biological wavy line, we relate to it as it's our unique signature. So that's one of the distinctions in Neurographica, is we draw wavy lines. So now that I have the circle and it represents me, my situation, how I relate in my teaching to people that I teach. So I assign meaning to this shape, and we always do that. Every shape has a meaning, or at least we try to, if we necessarily don't know what it is, sometimes some circles come and we don't know what it is. We try to see and feel, at least we try to feel what it might be. In this case, I know because I specifically drew this circle. And now that I see the circle, I see myself in this empty white page, and now I give myself a question. So what would it look like if I expanded myself, and how much I want to expand my view, my point of view, my awareness in my relatedness, my specific topic of choice today? How much do I want to expand? What would it look like? The second figure that is going to go around this is going to be a square. And there is a purpose to that. Square has a bit of a different vibration to it, energetic shape. So next shape is going to be a square, and square is what allows me to expand myself because it has corners. And I need those corners because those corners are blind spots. So this is the area where I want to expand my awareness from the circle, because these square corners, these are my blind spots. These are the spots that my awareness doesn't reach, because if I drew a bigger circle, I would be expanding exactly as I am now, but I want to expand in the areas that I don't necessarily see right now, and that's why I need the corners. So I'm drawing a square. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense and you did the same. And now that we did that, we need to add a few lines, the same wavy lines across the drawing to connect these two shapes. So we draw lines always as connecting shapes, and you can see I draw the same wavy lines. They wave around, and I add them anywhere I want them to go, anywhere they want to go, and they will crisscross, and that's okay. And yeah, so do the same. And as you can see, I add lines from one side page side to the other. And we will do this a few times. We'll add a few lines. There you go. And it looks kind of messy right now, but we'll do a few more things to make it look really beautiful. So please follow along, and now sense how your something feeling or your mood or maybe some emotions coming in. And what we're going to do now, we're going to add more lines within this square from the circle. So make sure that you see this inner circle is getting a little bit less significance. The more lines we add inside, the less significant the circle becomes. And we want the circle to look less significant because we want this square to look a little bit more significant, because that's what we're focusing on the new square. And I'm adding the same wavy lines around the square lines on top of the square lines, you see, to make sure that the square is also part of this, my organic, unique system that I'm drawing here. And so what we're doing is we're really now expanding, connecting. Actually, lines are the agents of connecting different things on the page. Whatever is happening on the page, we always connect with these lines, these wavy lines. And as we connect these wavy lines, we connect not just what's happening on the page, but we also connect ourselves and our situation with outside ourselves, with the larger space that we are part of. In this case, in my case, I'm connecting with the students that outside of the shape. So this is me, this is my consciousness. I'm connecting with the other consciousness around me. And that's really cool what we could do. We could do anything on paper, on the page, and it translates in our lives, because our brain really translates that as our new reality in our own personal lives. So it's very cool how it works. And that's why I mentioned psychological effects. And this is not only psychological, but this is neurological, because our neurons are rearranged as we do that as well. So this is a very cool, simple, approachable method that you can learn for yourself. And that's what I mean self-coaching, is because what you draw, when you follow the instructions for drawing, you draw what makes sense to you. And you help yourself to train your mind to be better, to be healthier, to be more in control of what's happening in your life, or how your life is happening to you. So what I'm doing now, if you've noticed, I'm bonding these lines. I'm merging them, connecting them, just like by very, very gently rounding the corners of intersecting lines. So anywhere the lines intersect, they create these sharp corners, and we don't want the sharp corners on the drawing, because the sharp corners represent some sharpness, maybe could be representing some danger, and we don't want that, because we want this drawing, associate this drawing as safe, harmonious, balanced. And in order to achieve that sense of safety in the drawing, we round all of these sharp corners. And look how this drawing becomes much more, friendly, more beautiful, more harmonious, and more safe for us to associate what we want with this drawing. So here you go. So when I'm saying that I want to expand my relatedness with my students, maybe deep down in my mind, and I'm not aware of it, but I'm saying something in my subconscious mind preventing me being fully related to people, because maybe there is some past experience blocking me as something is unsafe, and I don't know, I'm not aware of this consciously. But what I'm telling this in this drawing, I'm telling my subconscious that it is safe, it is perfectly fine for me to expand and relate better. And yeah, so you see, accepting all of this square as I'm accepting as a safe space for me to expand into. And that's a very important message. And you know what, if I try to convince myself consciously, good luck, it's not going to work easily. It will take probably a lot of therapy, a lot of work. But the good thing about using drawing is that you don't need therapy. It's really effective because it's kind of self-coaching, and easy way, very ecological, easy way to work with your subconscious patterns. So if you've done what I've done, if you found all these little intersections and you colored them in with the same marker that you've been drawing, and if your lines are bionic and wavy like my lines are, so you will see beginning of circles. You see, like there are some line that bends and reminds me that could be a beginning of a circle. So look for these like bending ways, and see where your eye catches somewhere a beginning of a circle, where your eye sees a full circle, where you would like to add a full circle. And this is going to be, we're going to assign a meaning to these new circles as resources. So all the circles inside the square are going to be reactivating our inner resources, okay? And any circles outside of the square will be our outer resources. And those resources, outer resources, could be anything, could be people, situations, information, could be even money or whatever else it could be for you important. And inner resources are the character traits, the maybe self-discipline, maybe willpower, maybe something else that you need to activate within yourself to help you get the results that you want. So go ahead and find new shapes, new circles within the square and outside of the square, okay? And whenever you add a new circle, you will probably add some lines that intersect, fresh intersections, fresh corners. So whenever the fresh corner comes up, go in and gently color it in so that it looks rounded. So we add rounded, and these circles that you add can be any size, absolutely any size, could be huge, could be tiny. Really don't have to follow my patterns, because you will have your own. And even if the circle, like in my case right now, came out, some part of it came outside of the square, that's completely fine. Whatever is in your case is completely fine, and there is no really rule or restriction here. You are still in the artistic mode and still being an artist, and just observe what's where the hand is going to take you and how it's going to be, how it's going to unfold the whole drawing. It's going to be really nice and pretty. I could tell you that once you're done with it, you'll really like it. And that's important part, that we have to like what we're doing here, because we're drawing something very specific, case scenario in our life. So if you draw something and you don't like it, stop and ask yourself, is there what you need to do so that you like the drawing? Maybe you want to add a line, add another circle, add something else. So yeah, make sure that that your drawing is pleasing to your eye, and it has a very important meaning here, because we also we aware of the neuroaesthetics study. It's field of science that studies our brain's perception to beauty. And the scientists found out that when we see something and it's beautiful to us, our brain considers it as a safe thing. It's a safe. So there is a reason why we're drawn to beauty, why we want to look beautiful, and we like beautiful things and beautiful people, because subconsciously it means to us that it's safe. So that's why when we draw anything we draw, we also want to make sure that we like it. So that's the simple explanation. And you could see if you want to add extra lines, you can add extra lines. And then you add a few more circles, and you could see that now I'm feeling the pulse of the drawing. I'm feeling the dynamic, the energy of the drawing, and I really love it. I just love it. Like I feel now that how I'm I have my body sensations, like I have very strong body sensations right now. Like I feel the energy of the drawing, and I love it because I'm thinking about my how I relate to people and that are gonna come to the course, and I'm loving the people who are gonna come. I already love the whole situation, and I cannot even explain all of what I'm feeling right now, but I know it's amazing. It's just awesome. So this little drawing just completely shifted my some sort of maybe fears that I weren't even aware of. Like I didn't even know, and I wasn't even aware of that I needed to work on it. It's something not completely not obvious to me, but because I'm taking time to do something, like this self-coaching work on something, I'm revealing all these interesting things. And I love the dynamic, how circles are coming in, and then there's a bit of a diagonal, and diagonal is always something growth, something that's moving, something that's very dynamic. So I'm loving that as well. And yeah, now I see a lot of circles, and I see that all of these people I'm going to meet through the course, they are amazing, they are beautiful, and I'm loving the fact that I will have a chance to express myself and learn something from these amazing new people, as well as they can learn something from me probably. And maybe that's why they're coming to the course. So the next step, and you can dwell and you can stay as long as you like. You can stop the video and stay as long as you like, but I'm going to move ahead, add some color. And here I'm adding a little bit of color just to add a little bit more emotional energy here. So color is light, and light is energy. So by adding color, we adding a mood, we adding a little bit more something, something a little bit more of emotional character as well. And that's very interesting. So how I'm adding, you see, I'm not staying within the contours of the circles. The color is, as I said, is energy. It moves on its own where it wants to move. So color always moves, and make sure that your coloring is always like moving, like yeah, like light, like you letting the light go through somewhere through the drawing, and it moves in any direction it wants to move. Just let it move, let it be, let it flow. And I'm adding color inside and outside the square. And here we don't have a necessarily a need to color the entire page. You can, but you don't have to. I'm just adding a little bit of color, just as I said, to create some sort of a sense of emotional character as well. And just do the same and see where the color wants to move. And also you can create a little bit more dynamic with colors. So somewhere I'll color a little bit more, somewhere less, and see what happens here. Yeah. I'm just adding a little bit more interesting dynamic here. And I feel like adding yellow. I love yellow. And you can mix colors. You see, I'm going with yellow over red and over green. And I want to add a lot more yellow here. So these 3 circles going to be yellow. It's perfect. And I'm just going quickly here. Perfect, great. So this is it. I don't need to dwell again. You can add more color if you like. If not, then it's up to you. And now what we're going to do is going to highlight this square once again. just to like anchor the whole conversation, what happened here, and make it a little bit more prominent. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the square as the most important, the main shape on the page. So I want to make sure that the square is the king here, is like the main shape, is the dictating everything else, what's happening. And this is also anchoring my my awareness of what just happened here, is that this is my expanded, I expanded in the blind spot. I expanded myself in the area where I wasn't aware, or maybe I didn't want to go. Maybe I had some past experiences that, that prevented me to being more open and open to strange new people. And so here I go. So the square is like a reminder of the result of this drawing, of my new state of being, how I feel right now. So make sure that you capture also capture how you feel right now in this square shape. And please come back for other drawings. I'll have more, and I will have a course ready in English language. I'm teaching in Lithuanian, have been teaching for 2 years in Lithuanian, but now I'm expanding in teaching in English language as well. So if you like to learn this technique and learn how to, and this is a very small example, but if you like to learn all the shapes, what they mean, why we draw them, and how we make the compositions and things on the page to make it into a psychological and neurological kind of exercise. Yeah, leave a comment, share your drawings. I would love to learn and love to keep in touch. Thank you. Bye.